What do you think about the nationwide solar farms that's happening with Solar Landscape?
So yeah, so I think it's great. I think it's an ambitious project. There's a lot of unused rooftop space on self storage facilities, which makes sense, right? The question is, and this goes back to, I think it was last week we talked about those solar panels. Like,
Yep.
if they do this, then what about those other solar panels that come out that they could probably potentially triple, quadruple the amount of output? What do they do then? Because this is a huge undertaking, right?
Yeah, this is an amazing undertaking. I really love the concept,
So do I.
but I agree with you. If those new solar panels are the leap forward that they claim they're going to be, the new PVT 90% efficient solar panels, PVT, PTV. Anyway, go back. Those will be coming out in the next couple of days on the podcast, or go back and look at our video last week. Then these would be a huge jump. And I've been talking about why don't we have these everywhere? And I did some checking because Amazon deployed solar panels on their factory, on their warehouses everywhere. And then they had a bunch of problems with fires and whatnot, and they stopped it.
Yeah.
But apparently they've kind of figured those things out and committed to deploying solar and is continuing. So I was wondering, my concern is deploying these, great. So their concept is, hey, on all these self-storage lots everywhere, we're going to rent the roofs and put solar panels and generate power. It's like, great, because you have all these buildings that have these flat roofs across the country. We'll go and put solar panels there. But who maintains them? Who's keeping track if there's a fire or they're not running or whatever? There's nobody on site. Like if you got a huge Amazon warehouse and it's powering the warehouse, then you've got an electrician there doing whatever because you have to have one. But you don't necessarily have one in a self-storage unit.
Yeah, and with the new panels, you don't have that problem with overheating. But again, don't get me wrong, this is great. We need more power on the grid because of the demand. So this is a great initiative, and I think this is great. This is going to help for sure, 100%.
Yeah, they're planning 100 megawatt capacity on this solar farm. So I would agree with you from a point of view. If they're investing this kind of money, somebody needs to be looking at this new solar panel technology and what the new solar panel technology is and understand the timeline to get to those.
Yeah.
And say, listen, it's like buying a new computer. There's always a new computer around the corner. Are you waiting for the M4 chip? Are you buying M3? Are you waiting for the M5? There's always a new one. So you want to plan and say, all right, if there's a good chance that these will come out within our time frame, then we can plan, we can build infrastructure, we can do a bunch of things, and then implement the latest solar panels at that time in 2 years. Once we've got the infrastructure, the rollout, this and that, the plan, the people behind it, and let's go. But if they're not available, you're going to go with the latest one. So you can start negotiating contracts and put those kinds of things in place. But that's got to happen at a high level. The problem is you're talking about budgets now. I have a long history of being a technical project manager, and most people don't budget properly. And, I always had a nice contingency built into my budgets that you couldn't find because I built it into every little thing.
Yeah.
So that, it's one of those that over time you have a lot of wiggle room. Okay. Because eventually the client comes to you and says, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And I had a completely different philosophy from project management than most of the people had in the industry. I took these training courses and everyone says on time, on budget is all that matters. Right. And I just laugh. I laugh every time they say that. And I said, you're completely wrong. None of that matters. You know what matters? The guy signing the check or girl at the end of the day is smiling.
Yeah.
If you're happy when you pay me for the work I've done, you're going to call me back and you're happy. If I'm on time and on budget, you could be miserable. You'll never say a good word to me and be about kicking me out the door. You're like, oh, you're a good project manager. You meant like, really? That's what happened? Because you delivered something you agreed to, 3 years ago and were completely inflexible and now doesn't fit with the solution they need. And he's miserable and throwing you out the door because they just wasted all this money.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to get going, I guess.
Yeah.
I've looked at this 100 million megawatt, 100 megawatt solar farm from Solar Landscape is looking really interesting.
Let's just hope that they future-proof it. Let's hope they future-proof it. Let's hope they plan it properly. Yeah.
Absolutely. This would be great if they future-proof it, plan it properly. We'll keep track of it and let people know what's going on.
Absolutely.
So, John, you help people get government funding.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you want to book some time with me, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll share my Calendly with you. You can book some time. We can do an assessment through. We can talk through. We can talk through what your needs are, and what's out there for you. 100%.
And check out TorontoStarts.com for the latest episodes of all this stuff. Go to whoarethestartups.com for our interviews with startups. Go to startupdrinksto.com for our in-person monthly networking events with startups and investors. But you can find all that information on TorontoStarts.com. And thanks again for joining us. And thanks again, John.
Thank you, Craig.